Hello there everybody, welcome back to another Lost Ark adjacent video. It's Topical Tuesday, the video I do every Tuesday where we take a look at the Lost Ark game subreddit over the last week and we see what people have been talking about, and we just kind of sit and chit-chat, and that's kind of the whole video. Yay! Don't really know what's been going on, especially this week, because whenever I have looked at the subreddit, I haven't remembered anything that I've seen. So that's either a good thing or a bad thing. Oh yeah, there's a team update, that's right. I guess it'll primarily be the team update then. So let's take a look here. Team update. Heading towards March. Heroes of Arcasia, a variety of new and returning players fresh in their journey along veterans, beginning new journeys on Guardian Night or other classes. Beginning of Feb has been an exciting time, working to keep up the momentum by ensuring March is impactful. Share updated information, some highlights we've seen, player interest below. There'll be more QOL changes in the full release notes available before the update. Okay, so there should be more QOL in the full notes. But they're just going to kind of talk about some of the bigger sort of fish, if you will. Progression event. We're working to craft a progression event for March to help progression as players continue to push in the endgame. Target group will be players who are working to progress in the endgame, either on a current event character, or those looking to boost another favorite character in preparation for the next endgame raid circa, arriving in April. Working title for the event is Guardian Night Challenge. What a name. But the event is still in development as we collaborate with Smilegate and monitor player progression. We'll provide updates as we head towards the update, either in our Eye on Arcasia or in the release notes as soon as we have the final details. Balance update. In Korea, Smilegate recently released a balance update. We're committed to working with Smilegate to releasing balance updates as quickly as possible for the players looking forward to key adjustments to their classes. We will have this balance update prepared by the March update to release alongside all other key changes and content. Guardian adjustments. Guardian raids will receive significant convenience improvements in the March update. The character revival limit will be removed except for the Trial Guardian raid Hanumaton. And Guardians will feature a target information UI, always be visible on the minimap, no longer move between areas, and feature smaller combat zones. A combat support buff will be applied to parties without a support class, and HP scaling for solo and two-player runs will be reduced. All Guardians will use a new stagger system that permanently increases damage taken with each successful stagger, a stackable buff. With these changes, several battle items, flares, brilliant flares, pheromone essence, repair shop portal scrolls will be removed and converted to functional battle item chests. These changes will help speed up and simplify the experience. So this is something that a lot of people were very upset about, and I think rightfully so with the last update and sort of the more, I guess, quote-unquote forcing of you to do Guardian raids, whereas before they were like pretty optional, and now they're like very much less so optional since this is how you get your gems. And this was like a QOL thing that it didn't come out at the same time as the update did in Korea either, but you kind of would have assumed they would have bundled it together for us, I think is what a lot of people were going on about. But it's good to see that we are getting it relatively quickly after. Still does kind of suck that there was just like a month or two period where you just didn't have this and it was like extra miserable to do. But that's the Korean to Western pipeline for video games, unfortunately. They don't always do the smart things. They don't do the needful, as it were. Raid adjustments. Kazros Raid Act 4 and Kazros Denouement Final Day. Whatever the fuck that word is. Never seen it before in my life. Will receive multiple adjustments across their gates and difficulty modes to improve gameplay experience in the March update. Some which ease attacks, better telegraph, and adjusted HP. In Gate 2, Kazros will also die when reaching 0 HP bar in the first section of the fight. Additionally, Act 3, Night of Storms, and Darkness Gate 1 will end immediately when Theamine or Infernus' HP is fully depleted across all difficulty modes. The full list of specific changes will be available in the March release notes. So again, this is some more QOL that I think a lot of people were very annoyed that we didn't get earlier. From my perspective, at least from the outside looking in from the subreddit. And yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of these sort of time-wasting mechanics, even way back in the day, where, like, you get a boss to 0 bars, and then they still have to go through all of their mechanics before they actually die. Great example would be Clown. Clown was a classic one. Another great example would be many different iterations of Belshazzar. There's just so many different bosses where you can get them to 0 HP bars, but they won't actually die until they do certain mechanics. And it's a bit annoying, for sure. And it's good to see that the QOL is here, and they are, I mean, for better or for worse, they're doing it relatively quickly. Though again, I think a lot of people would probably argue, hey, this shit happened in Korea so far in advance, like, why couldn't you bundle it better together for us, because it's, like, basic QOL shit? I don't know. Look, man, I'm used to the Korean-Western transition. Shit never is smartly done. It just is what it is, unfortunately. But it's good that we are getting it now. And then, Story Chapter in Paradise Season 3. Previously announced these changes in the roadmap, but you wanted to provide a quick reminder. Story marking the end of Chapter 1 of Lost Ark and what has been a multi-year battle against Khazros and his forces will draw to a close in the final story quest titled One Who Confronted Abyss's End. Wow, very cool. It's a continuation of the story directly after the last cutscene in Khazros denouement. Again, no fucking idea how to pronounce that word, never seen that word in my life. And features a giant battle. Sorry, final battle. Giant battle. I mean, I guess it is technically a giant battle. A final giant battle against Khazros and Patrania. We don't want to share any other spoilers for those excited to experience it firsthand, but it will serve as the conclusion to Part 1 of Lost Ark's story. It is a pretty lengthy quest, so a knowledge transfer will be added for it as well. Make sure to be ready and have completed the story beforehand. Paradise Season 3 will also kick off with the March update, so remember to make a final push and use all your hell keys before Season 2 ends on March 4th. We'll continue to be on the lookout for feedback throughout Season 2, and are excited for the continuation of the system in Season 3. As a final note, we are preparing another survey to measure progress and collect feedback. The responses we've received in past surveys has been instrumental and directly led to some major game changes. Please keep an eye out for the survey in the near future. We can't wait for these impactful changes to arrive in March, and we hope you're enjoying the journey in the meantime. So, as always, whenever they do the feedback surveys specifically asking for your feedback, I always push people to do them, even if you think it's a waste of time. Because in the off chance that it is a waste of time, whatever, you know, you spend a couple minutes trying to make the thing that you enjoy doing a little bit better, right? But in the best case scenario, this is like the one direct channel that they have to directly give to, like, Smilegate, or, like, look at their internals and be like, okay, we have like, hard data directly from the source that we asked, i.e. the player base. So, like, if we're gonna make changes, this is how we're gonna make changes with this data, you know what I'm saying? So, like, these official feedback survey things, even if you think they're useless, and maybe they are useless sometimes, the amount of time you put in for the potential upside, I just think it's so worth it. So I always urge you guys to do the surveys. It's worth, man. Great patch, Guardian raids will be less painful now. True. Amazing patch next month. Thank you, Mr. EGS. Can't wait for Raid Nurse and 0 HP ending the raid. Smile. True. We don't want to share any other spoilers immediately after a huge spoiler for the final story quest is insane. Wow. Yeah. WAGS, we eating good in March. Quite rare for me to say this, but well done, AGS. Pretty hyped for March. WAGS. FYI, the most likely patch timing for March is of the 11th. I know this because I'm psychic and not because the daily login events Power Pass all end there. Well, we have a psychic on our hands, so there you go. That's the patch date, and if it doesn't happen on that date, you know who to blame. Then this is the second most upvoted post, but I thought it was interesting, and I always like me a good conspiracy tinfoil hat theory. AGS has removed the 1-year Aura subscription from Steam. With AGS's contract nearing its end, they have now decided to remove the 1-year Aura subscription from Steam. The description is still there, but the package is not. Tinfoil hat on, popcorn in the hand. Can't wait for the comments. True. Pretty sure they can't legally sell a subscription for longer than they have the license to publish the game, even if talks to extend would be ongoing. I'm not saying that they are. What is the expiration date of the current license? That is a good question. I would like to know this. And then we have pedantic arguing, which is like the classic on the internet. We love that. At the same time, Smilegate is hiring a Lost Ark management role for the West. The role is specific for KR because everyone developing the events and the content for Outseas version in the game has nothing to do with what the OP is implying or that Smilegate will self-publish the game. Key responsibilities of the role: Lost Ark West, North America, Europe, Russia, live PM work, live issue management and response, indicator analysis and BM event design, analysis of overseas market and competitors, internal and external communication related to related work. If I'm not mistaken, one of the three bozos is in charge of that role. One of the three bozos doing it for China, specifically going to Tencent events, etc. I'm not sure if there's a specific person for us right now. That'd be kind of crazy if there isn't, but it also wouldn't surprise me, I guess. The end is near. Chat, are we cooked? There are possible options: end of service, renewal contract, different publisher. At the moment, it's just speculation. Just wait and see, drink some tea. I mean, I think, personally, and I don't think it's like a super far stretch of the imagination, but I don't think end of service is quite near... I mean, See, okay, the way that I feel about end of service isn't necessarily that, like, the game is, like, unprofitable, because it's clearly not. It's... the amount of effort that they put into the game for our version is, like, very, very low and very, very minimal, and, like, the amount of money they get back from it is probably, like, well worth what they spend. But I also am curious, because they did shut down Lost Ark Japan, but I don't know relative to, like, our version how bad Japan was doing for them to end of service that. Because it has sort of the same concept there. I mean, maybe if it was, like, doing much, much worse than our version, I could see why they end of serviced it. But it's interesting because they have a precedent of being willing to do it, so I don't know. But I don't think Amazon is going to continue publishing the game. And the reason is just because I don't think AGS as an entity is going to exist for very long. Like, it's already basically just this and, like, whatever else that they publish, because they don't develop anything anymore. And that was the original idea behind the AGS, like, wing, if I'm not mistaken, is that they were going to self-develop and publish games. But, yeah, they obviously downsized that heavily and then got rid of the entire, like, development portion of it. So I think if I had to place my money on it, it's going to be a different publisher. Who that publisher is, I have no idea. I couldn't even begin to speculate, you know? But I think I would feel pretty confident in saying that it's going to be a different publisher. And that is to say that I could also see end of service happening just because of the whole, like, Lost Ark Japan thing. But I don't think it's, like, the most likely option. You know what I'm saying? And I think the furthest at the bottom, like near 0%, I think is AGS continues publishing the game. I mean, maybe. Like, there's a non-zero chance that it can happen. I just think given, like, all the information we have about AGS and, like, everything that sort of has went on, I just think that's super, super unlikely. I'm sorry to remind you, but Russia Lost Ark exists with 2K players and way less revenue. Lost Ark EU NA still generates massive amount of money every new class raid release. Wakey. Yeah, I mean, this is what I mean. I have no idea how bad Lost Ark Japan was doing for them to end of service it. I have no relative metric. And if Russia exists still and it's, like, doing way worse than NAEU, then obviously they're almost assuredly going to keep it. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's, like, a non-zero chance that it could happen. But anyways, when's the license running out? 2027, according to rumors. It's a 5 years publishing deal. Leave it to XX Meme Lord 420. That's my goat. That's my goat. 07 lads, do we start learning Chinese, Russian, or Korean? That's funny. This week was pretty good overall. It's some funny posts, some good posts. Only 2 of them, but I mean, they were pretty good. Anyways, I'll keep it pretty short this week for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you like the video if you did, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you to my YouTube members. It's Bits, it's Inner Diz, Remix My Life. Love all you guys very, very much, and I'll see you guys all very, very soon. Bye!